Hey everyone, NWA Prepper here. I am wanting to talk today about how much food do you need. And I'm not the only one with this on their mind lately. There's been a few other channels that I watch that have kind of brought it up. And I've talked about it before, but really there are some things that I think, enough is enough, on some things. That you don't need an extra one or another one, or, and I know that's kind of crazy, but food is one of those things that I just don't think that you can reach enough is enough. And there's some, I just watched, I don't remember if I watched it or read it. I guess I read a post from another channel, and their magic number is 750 pounds per person per year. And that sounds awesome. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that logic. My thoughts are that would be a minimum amount, and that's a lot of food. That is a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot to store. That's a lot to acquire. It's not really that much to acquire, but it takes some time, and you want to acquire the right things, because there's some things that are great. Sorry, I don't know how to deal with it. There's some things that are great. Rice, awesome. Rice is dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Beans are relatively inexpensive. I mean, they're cheap. Buckets and Mylar are inexpensive, and that's my preferred way to store them. And you can get all those stuff a little at a time. And that is my big thing is, I always go back to the adage, how do you eat an elephant? Sorry, you're tilting there. Or maybe it was me. One of us is off kilter. Either you are or I am. It's probably me. So you can never get enough, but to get it, don't go get money out of your savings account, your emergency money. Don't do crazy things like that to go buy 750 pounds of rice today. Now, if you're in a position that you can do that, by all means, go buy a year's supply of food. But if you're like most people, certainly most people that are watching this channel, you've got to do it in baby steps. A little bit at a time is fine. One mouthful of food that you have today that you didn't have yesterday is a step in the right direction. There are all kinds of lists, and I'm not a list guy, because what is going to be on my list is different than what's on your list. And that's the same with everyone's. There are some good guidelines. And I've talked about guidelines before, Wheat, I like to get wheat, but there's more to getting wheat than just buying in buckets of wheat. Buying and bucketing wheat. You have to be able to use the wheat. You have to know how to prepare it. You have to practice how to prepare it. You have to find ways to use it that work for you. And not everyone does that. And so it kind of drives me crazy when people don't do that. Because if you have it, you need to know how to use it, or how you're going to use it. How I use wheat will may be different than how you use wheat. I intend on growing wheat. I like eating sprouts, so I'll grow it and trim it and throw it in a salad, throw it on a sandwich, and eat the sprouts. You can take the wheat berries and pour warm milk over them, a little bit of sugar. I like a little bit of sugar, and let it sit for a while and eat it like a cereal. You can grow it as wheat. You can grind it as flour. But I know people that say that they're preppers that don't know what to do with flour. All they know is that flour is in bread. Okay, how do you make bread? How do you make bread today when you can go to the store and you can get yeast and you can get baking soda and baking powder and the leavening agents and you've got oil and you've got all these ingredients and you've got bread pans and you can put it in the oven and you can let it rise in the nice warm kitchen and blah blah blah, and then bake it. Well, how do you do that when you don't have that kitchen? It's hard. It takes a lot of trial and error. I have burned many a loaf of bread by trying to make bread outside. Now, you may prep in a different way where you don't have to be outside. That's wonderful. Part of my preparations is to not have to bake outside, to have the fuel and capabilities to bake in an oven. Great. Practice it. I mean, that's all wonderful. But so store foods that you can use. And if you can't, say you decide that I am going to buy whole kernel corn, and I'm going to buy a bunch of it. I'm going to buy a 50-pound bag of it, and that's awesome. How are you going to process the corn to something that you use? And I'm certainly not being negative. I'm trying to encourage you to try something new, to get a new raw material and go learn how to use it. There are lots of raw materials that I don't know how to use that I need to practice with. One of the things that I'd like to do is I'd like to learn how to make pasta. Those of you that know how to do that are giggling, going, well, it's not that hard. I just have never done it. So that's something that I want to do to increase my preparedness, or to increase my capabilities. Because you don't have to have pasta. It doesn't make you smarter or stronger or anything like that. But I like pasta. My family likes it. So I want to be able to make it. Other things, how much rice do you eat? Do you know how to cook rice? No, I'm not being condescending. I'm being serious, because there was a day in my adult life that if it wasn't minute rice or microwave in the little packs for 90 seconds and have rice, that I wouldn't know how to make rice, or to make it the way that I want it, the way that I enjoy it. So learn to make rice. If you're prepping beans, make beans, make stews, make soups. Make the stuff that you're going to eat, the stuff with the ingredients. And if it's something that you just have to have, and this is how wheat was with me, is I decided, I read somewhere, somebody told me, you have got to have wheat. So I got fortunate and I bought 4 or 5 5-gallon buckets. I actually think there were 6-gallon buckets of wheat berries. Man, I felt accomplished, and I should, because that was a great deal of money, because they were about $45 or $50 a bucket. And because I didn't know better. But it was wonderful, and I feel good to this day about it. But then later, somebody asked me, hey, great, what do we didn't do with that? And all I could say was, oh no. And so I went and I learned how to do it, and I've practiced it. And if you've never hand ground wheat, particularly when you need to grind it twice, because I like well ground flour, man, it's calorie intensive. I don't have a bicycle setup that I can use. It's got a thing on it. I could buy a belt. I could figure out how to do it with a bicycle, setup. But I don't have it ready. I can't go today and go, guess what? We need wheat for dinner. Hop on the bike. I can't do that. And that's something I want to do. Buy the foods that you use, because if you don't use them or you don't eat them, your body's not going to be adjusted for them, and it's not going to be the levelizing agent that food can be. Food can be the thing that keeps you closer to norm in your mind. If you're used to spaghetti on Tuesdays, there needs to be spaghetti on Tuesdays. If you don't have spaghetti, all you have is rice and beans, and you never eat either of those, it's going to be a system shock and a mental shock because you're not used to those. How much of those do you need? As much as you can have. Start with, when you buy a meal for tonight, buy the stuff for 2 of them. Set one back. Tomorrow or next week, when you go grocery shopping, pick out 2 meals and buy 2 meals and set that back. And slowly you'll learn the things that you eat, that you like, that store well, and then you'll be like, oh wow, there's a sale on, elbow macaroni. Awesome. I know we eat that. I know we enjoy it. Let's buy a bunch of it. We can afford 5 extra pounds. And then soon you'll be able to fill a storage bucket or a Mylar bag with it and put it in a bucket. Or however you want to store things. Stack it in a tub. You can do it. Don't ever stop. Don't ever think that you're not doing enough. Every step forward is doing something. We'll never get to enough. Never. I could prep the rest of my life and nothing happened, and the day that I'm gone, if something happened, my family wouldn't have enough of something. Keep on going. Take your baby steps. Do the best you can do. And if the best you can do is 99 cents bag of pasta or a 65-cent can of tuna, do it. One step at a time. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you're still watching. I know most people chime out about 4 minutes, but if you're still watching, hit the like button. Leave a comment down below, positive or negative, let her rip. And thumbs up. I like thumbs up. Let's get ready.